Hello, everyone. Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jacqueline. I am the founder of Realizing Your Potential, and I'm actually coming to you doing this Facebook group. It's actually part of, I don't really want to say it's part of a series, but it's part of my growth and my development as a new business entrepreneur. I'm trying to just kind of get used to doing more videos and just kind of really putting myself out there. I'm starting to understand that that's what it's going to take, and not just, selling a product or, let's say selling a product that I know people are going to want to know a little bit about me and where I come from, a little bit more about what I have to say. So I'm trying to do more videos. But at any rate, one thing I wanted to talk about is self-esteem, and I know a lot of my coaching packages deal with self-esteem because after all I am a women's empowerment self-esteem coach, and I just want to touch base about the whole self-esteem piece. And I know a lot of times people kind of saying you have low self-esteem may be like kind of like a dirty word, or something that people might feel embarrassed by. No one wants to admit that, I have low self-esteem. But the reality is a lot of us do. Or just because you have low self-esteem, it doesn't mean it's not anything bad. Or we might have lower self-esteem in certain aspects of our life than others. It just depends on what it is. Like maybe some people might have a higher self-esteem when it comes to their job and their profession, but maybe when it comes to relationships, they just kind of really just kind of feel like they're just floating around aimlessly, not really knowing how to go about it or how to manifest a actual healthy, lasting relationship. At any rate, I just threw that out there because I wanted to kind of give an example as to say that just because, again, self-esteem is nothing to be embarrassed about. And some of us have pretty high or pretty healthy self-image from the beginning. Others of us just don't. Sometimes it could come from something that we've gone through in our lives. Maybe a lot of challenging situations. It could be maybe you've lost a job. You've been out of a job for over a year. Or it could be maybe the ending of a 10-year marriage. It could be a lot of different things. It could be maybe having a terminal illness. So I'm just saying that there's a lot of different things that happen in the course of our lives that may cause us to have a lot of self-doubt. But I wanted to say that thinking about self-esteem, I think it's very important to acknowledge that self-esteem, or to have an awareness that your self-esteem or your self-image permeates throughout your whole life. Okay? Meaning that I think sometimes people don't realize, or just don't realize on a conscious level, how many different areas of your life your self-esteem affects. It could have an impact on you. I think one thing, as far as us as women, I think it has a huge impact on us as far as our relationships. Meaning, being in unhealthy relationships. Sometimes we get into relationships, it could be for the right reasons, but we let them drag on when in reality we really shouldn't be in these relationships. We shouldn't try to continuously work on it, or we are giving too much to it. Just too much energy, and maybe we're the only ones bending over backwards and trying to make it work, because sometimes it's hard to let go. Sometimes we might feel like, oh, wow, if I let go of this relationship, am I going to spend the rest of my life alone? So I think self-esteem can have an impact on us as women, and especially women of color in that respect. Sometimes it could play a role in reference to your job. Maybe you have a particular job that you don't like. You feel like it's a dead-end job. You get up every morning, and it's kind of like that little commercial where they sliding along the floor saying, oh, time to make the donuts, like no motivation, no excitement to get to work, nothing. You just going through the motions. This is just a paycheck. I don't like my job, but, I know my job. At least I know I'm going to get a paycheck. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's fear of moving on. Sometimes it's fear that if I leave that job, am I going to get another job just as good as this job or better? Or I'm going to leave this job and jump into something else that's worse than this job. And then you'd be like, I never should have left the job. But a lot of times some of that goes into complacency. And sometimes we become complacent because either A, we get a little on the lazy side, or B, we just, we fear the unknown, and we feel that, unfortunately, sometimes we do feel that this is what we deserve, that we don't deserve better. And also, too, guys, for those of you that don't know me, I have a 6-year-old. So, he may come and join us at any time, or you may hear him in the background playing. But at any rate, so again, talking about self-esteem, I just was thinking about it today as I was driving, sitting in some traffic, and I was just like, wow, self-esteem just really can affect a lot of different areas in your life, and you just don't even realize it, but once you start really evaluating things, and really looking at things for what they are, like in terms of your job, your relationships, and it doesn't even have to be intimate relationships. It could be a good friend. It could be a family member, someone that you've known for years. It comes a time where you have to sometimes you have to reevaluate relationships. Are they positive relationships? Is this really something I should be holding on to? You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that that person is going to be dead to you. It just may mean that maybe instead of talking to that person every day, or instead of talking to them 2 or 3 times a week, maybe you need to talk to them once a month or once every 2 weeks, just like a little check-in or something like that. My battery's starting to get low. But a little check-in or what have you. And again, that's self-esteem. Because you have to realize that you want to have positive people in your life. You want to have positive relationships. And if you find that a relationship is way too much work, or you're the only one doing all the work, or somehow every time you get off the phone with that person, you hang out with that person, you feel horrible, you know what I mean? Then you need to listen to yourself and step back and don't feel bad, don't feel guilty. You know what I mean? But it's about loving yourself. You love yourself enough to know that I am worth positive relationships. You know what I mean? I want to spend my time with people that want to spend their time with me. And if you don't want to spend your time with me, or you don't value me, I value myself. And that's okay. I value myself, and that there are other people out there that are also going to value me and value me, and what I have to say and what I have to bring to the relationship. So there comes a time where, I guess you can call it house cleaning, where, you reevaluate your relationships. Are they positive relationships? If they are, they're going to be supportive. They're going to be nurturing. They're not going to feel, my battery's getting really low. They're not going to feel like a lot of work. And I don't mean an intimate relationship or marriage. Those are, a lot of work. I just mean a lot of relationships of different people that we hang around when maybe we shouldn't be hanging around those individuals. Or at least not as much as we typically would. So again, like I said, my battery is dying. But I'm going to be doing some additional videos talking a little bit more about self-esteem, also talking to you a little bit about where I come from, what space I'm coming from and where I see myself going. So stay tuned until next time. Thanks for listening, guys.